is no reason in the world for us to believe that European Americans will ever educate our children correctly. Ain't no reason in the world. Why would you believe that? What would give you the idea that you could ever convince these people to educate your children right? I don't care how much you protest, how much you demand, they will never do it. What they will end up doing is getting some white folks to teach them Afrocentric orientations. Because anybody in their right mind would know that anyone who has systematically blocked you from knowing for 3 centuries will not change overnight, over a year, over a decade, over a score of years, or even over a century. The only way we'll ever be able to really educate our children is to do it ourselves.
You're on, Brother Darrell.
Greetings and welcome to another powerful edition of the Community Defender Talk Show, one powerful hour of truth, dispelling falsehood. I'm your host, Brother Darrell Muhammad, and we're very glad that you have tuned in to tonight's program. We are, of course, utilizing modern technology to be able to bring you this Community Defender program in your homes and on the internet, on Facebook, on YouTube, so that people can get involved in the discussion. And of course, we do ask for callers to call in and get involved in the discussion. And we're going to, of course, heighten the level of discussion here at the Community Defender. Again, we're happy to have everybody there. We are, of course, 26 years and 1 month old, and we are the award-winning Community Defender. And of course, we want to thank all of the people who work to help the Community Defender to help to make it what it is. We want to thank our director, Brother Jay. We want to also thank the wonderful producer, Sister Khadijah, who really loves our people. And these both the director as well as the producer love our people. And that is what we need for the Black community. We need people who love us and are not afraid to say and to act on that love that they have for us. It doesn't mean that you hate anybody else, but you have to love your own people. And as you know, I subscribe to the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and you know I subscribe to the leadership of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. And self-love is something that is taught in my place of worship, that Black people are the original people of the earth, and that we must unite and we must love ourselves and do something for ourselves. Now, in the opening clip of our brother, who is also a cousin of mine, Naeem Akbar, he did tell you that there's no reason for us to believe that the European system will educate our children properly, and he did recommend that we do that ourselves. We have to educate our people ourselves. It's okay to have a Black history course, but what you want is an educational curriculum that embodies the true identity of our people and that speaks to who we are and speaks to the nature of who we are as a people. So you want to make sure that that's the kind of education that you get. And that, of course, is why the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has opened the Muhammad Universities of Islam to open the way to get our people this independent Black education that other people are talking about, that other people know we need. This is what we have to do. It has to be something that we do for ourselves. I want to also mention the passing of Brother Malcolm Jamal Warner, who, of course, died abroad under what I believe to be mysterious circumstance, but I'm not going to get into that. But the brother was a conscious brother. He projected a positive image of our people, an image that young people could look at and not be led astray. He was a family man who loved his daughter, loved his wife. He was a wonderful example. He was good for the culture. Everybody knows that he played Theo on The Cosby Show, and he did a marvelous job with that as well as other projects that he worked on. He always behaved in a very dignified manner that really was a good example for us to follow for our people. We, of course, are going to miss our brother, and he was our brother and will always be a brother of ours. I want to also mention, if I can, Brother Rahman Ali, who passed the other day, who was the brother of Muhammad Ali, the blood brother of Muhammad Ali. Now, and this, of course, is near and dear to my heart also, because these brothers wore Muslim names at a time when wearing a Muslim name was ridiculed very soundly. And these brothers helped to pave the way for me. People like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, people like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, Minister Abdul Rahman, and Muhammad Ali, as well as Rahman Ali. These people walked around with Muslim names to make a way for me and to help to make it easier for me to move around as Darrell Muhammad, and my wife to move around as Mrs. Muhammad, and my children to move around in the name Muhammad. So I just wanted to lay that out there, that and even when Muhammad Ali passed, it hurt me dearly, because I knew that these people had paved the way for me to be a Muslim in this modern time, and it not be as difficult, though it is sometimes difficult, but not as difficult as it used to be. And I thank Almighty God Allah for those brothers who helped to pave the way for me. But now we want to get into our topic, which is the guilt trip won't work. And the reason that I chose this topic is because your brother was annoyed by the fact that talking head Negroes, whether on the internet or whether on network television, are blaming black voters for what Donald Trump is doing, and not blaming a Democratic Party that has consistently stabbed black people in the back. So I don't like the fact that rather than blame the people who underperformed, who didn't do what they promised to do, who did not deliver on the issue of police brutality, who did not deliver on the issue of mass incarceration, who did not deliver from a cultural standpoint, desiring to put young men in dresses rather than in homes over families, promoting that LGBTQ agenda, which is detrimental, not good for black people. And I want to say this to black elected officials who want to be a loyal Democrat. You better be a loyal black first. Nothing wrong. And that doesn't mean you hate somebody else who is of a different skin color or race. But just as the interests of everybody, if they're Asian, they worry about Asians. If they're white, they worry about whites. So I think it's time, and there's nothing wrong, there's nothing hateful about it, for you to love and look out for yourself and your people. And the LGBTQ agenda, the abortion agenda, those things are bad for us. We have aborted 20 million black folks since Roe versus Wade was legalized. Over 20 million of us lost. We would probably already be the majority in Louisiana. We'd have a black governor right now if it was not for abortion. And I'm going to say this. We would have been had a black governor in Mississippi if it wasn't for it. I'm just laying it out there. Certain things that the Democrats roll with are just not good for our people. And just like when you eat fish, you take the meat and spit out the bone. Black politicians must split out the LGBTQ agenda bone, spit it out. Don't, the health care, you can take that. The extra money on education, you can take that. But that LGBTQ and that abortion thing of a woman's right to kill, that does not help us as a people move forward. That does not help us move forward. That those things are detrimental to us. And so I just wanted to lay that out there, that we are, unfortunately, a guilt trip is being run on black voters that is undeserved. There is nothing wrong with asking for something for your vote. There's nothing wrong that if a candidate does not embody your values as a black person, your values as a family man, your values, then if they do not embody your values, it is okay for you to reject that person, whether it be a Democrat, Republican, Independent, it doesn't matter. But black voters are being blamed for what Trump is doing, and you're not blaming these other people who failed to perform, who failed to deliver for the black constituency. You haven't said anything to them. And so a lot of people are online talking about, well, FAFO, F around and find out. Well, now you found out. And that's what they're talking about and dealing with as if it's an issue. We understand that Republicans govern a certain way and that Democrats govern a certain way. But both of those parties ignore the real issues of black people. And the guilt trip that you're trying to put out here is not going to work unless the Democrats deal with the issues that concern us. You're going to continue to fall short at the polls. That's just the reality. And so those of you who are running your mouth and railing against black people who maybe sat it out or voted for a third party candidate, don't do that. Get on your people who you think are your friends and tell them to deliver on the issue of police brutality, deliver on that, and deliver on the issue of mass incarceration. Until you deliver on those issues, which are central to the black male vote, it's going to be hard for you. You have to deliver. If you fail to perform, you get fired. And unfortunately, the Democrats failed to perform for their most loyal constituency, and they got fired. And the idea that you sent $183 billion to the Ukraine, which doesn't help black folks, and you spent $9.7 billion, or you allocated $9.7 billion to HBCUs. Now, every black person in Congress should be up in arms over that. Every Latino should be up in arms over that. But instead, y'all are still on the same BS that got us in this situation and circumstance. Understand that the crime bill, which people are still doing life on right now, there are thousands of people who are still in jail for what happened in 1994. They are still in jail. Some of them have been in jail for 30 years, and they got life for nonviolent offenses. And the person that you voted for president bragged about writing the bill, and nobody held them accountable. And the talking heads on the news media did not hold him accountable. There's no way that you can advocate for mass incarceration of our people and get our people's vote. That's just logic. Vote for those who are good for you. Don't vote for those who are bad for you. It's real simple. And in my view, both parties have been very, very bad for us. And I vote in most elections. I participate in the civic process, but I understand that the ultimate solution is the unity and organization of our people, as the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has laid out here for us. The unity and the organization of our people is what's going to get it done. Without organization, you can't put pressure on the politicians. Without unity, you can't put pressure on the politicians. And it takes the unity of our people to be able to get that done. So I just wanted to lay that out there. Now, I have in store for you in just a few minutes a clip that we're going to run, which and you can kind of get it ready, the brother director. But this clip was from the Word Network, where the Honorable Louis Farrakhan was invited by Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant, onto that platform. Now, he received a whole bunch of flack as a result of it. Those who were involved with him in the Word Network ridiculed him because he invited his brother on. And that speaks to the slave mentality, that your fear of others makes you try to isolate your brother so that the enemy will be pleased with you. But later on, the owners of the Word Network, showed this bishop what it was all about, because they portrayed him in a very, very disrespectful light. And in the meantime, you're trying to kiss these people's butt, but then they come right back and kick you. And that's why we should never let anybody tell us who to invite to whatever we got going on, who to bring to our universities. We should never, because you can't tell them if somebody racist, somebody who was genocidal, wanted to speak at LSU. And let's say, for example, the Prime Minister of Israel wants to speak at LSU. Would black folks say, nah, you can't have, would black students rise up and say, nah, he's killing people? Would they do that? Probably not. So the thing is, we never tell them who they can have at their schools. So nobody should be able to tell us who we can have and who can speak at whatever and who we can meet with. All right. So that's part of becoming a mentally free group of people, is that we accept our brother. And the Honorable Louis Farrakhan definitely has been our brother, and nobody should try to block him from speaking anywhere, because whatever he says is going to be relevant to the struggle. It's going to be medicine for the mind. And, there's just no other person that brings together all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in a package like he does, that can elevate and touch people's lives like the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. All right. So when you look at the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and you look at people like Marcus Garvey, who was also a do-for-self type person, these people are the kinds of people that we need to study and listen to. Was that a phone call, Brother Director?
No, brother, that wasn't. Let me know you want to run the video.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and run that video. We're going to run about 6 or 7 minutes of that video, but it's going to be absolutely worth it. Go ahead and roll that video, good brother.
The words that Sister Tamika said, we're killing each other, not because we just want to kill. We are socially engineered into the behavior of a savage. Socially engineered. When I was a young boy, the family was together, male and female. The man of the house would go out in the morning with his lunch pail, and the mother would stay home and rear the children. And we went to church on Sunday, and we went to school on Monday, but church and school and home worked together. And even though there was segregation, there was evil and injustice, yet we, at that time, had a community in which there was love and care. That's gone now. Our young people don't want to go to church. Our young people don't care about school because the meal that they're being fed and overfed is a doctrine of white supremacy, masked in history, masked in geography, masked in science, masked in mathematics, because none of them want to deal with what the black man gave to the onward march of civilization. So if I don't see myself in the picture, why am I interested?
Absolutely.
If we are not in the schools, in the process of education, if nothing is being said to show us what we contributed to this that is called America, not only from the slave plantations, but we gave science and mathematics to the world. We gave architecture to the world. Why don't our children know this? So, my brother, we need a new educational paradigm. It's not going to come from white supremacy. So here we are now. Jobs gone, factories closed, jobs warehoused to cheap labor markets. And then we are left in the lurch. When I was young, in every city, if you didn't go to college, there was a vocational school where women were taught the art and the science of homemaking. And men could get a trade where if they didn't go to college, they could work with their trade, make not the best of living, but a decent living where they didn't have to deal with crime and violence. But when the jobs were gone, the factories are closed, the home is broken down because now the men had to leave because our women are on aid to dependent children and they couldn't be in the house, so they vacated and snuck back at night, but the family was broken. Then the war came and women were taken out of the kitchen and out of the home and put in factories so that somebody else cooked food for us, because our mothers were in the factories. So we went to markets and Sally, somebody gave us food. Somebody did the dinner. Somebody did the dessert. Somebody made money off of us. But mama, grandmama who cooked for us, grandmama who shopped, grandmama, when we were coming home, we could smell the rolls that she was cooking in the oven. But today, it's cold. We used to be nursed from our mother's breast, where we bonded with mom. We bonded with something human that gave us a sense of our humanity, bonding with humanity. But today, mama is gone, children warehouse, so I'm bonded to a plastic bottle. I'm in a crib and you give me things to play with when I'm a human being and I'm not nurtured in a human way. So our children are growing up cold and heartless, socially engineered, and then drugs comes in. We don't make the drugs. Guns come in. We don't manufacture the guns. You've got satellites above our head that could spot a grapefruit on the ground and tell you where it came from. You can't find the drug pushers that are bringing it in. And the drug pusher, Brother Jamal, was our government. The government that flies the American flag over it. You are the traitor. You are the one that have betrayed that flag, betrayed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, betrayed the Constitution. You are unworthy, and many of you should be brought to court and charged with crimes against humanity for the evil that you have done.
Wow. Another masterful lecture from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Really an indictment on the whole system. And of course, we definitely invite anyone who wishes to come on in and join in on the discussion, to react to what you just heard the Honorable Louis Farrakhan say. I mean, he laid it all the way out there, gave you a picture of how things used to be when the family was together, and showed you systematically how we are engineered in a way that is opposed to our own well-being and our benefit. Unfortunately, these things are not being addressed by those who ask for the black community's vote. They just are not addressed. And as a matter of fact, our people work on other people's projects that other people want. They don't really work on our issues. And I know it's the same way in Lafayette Parish. It's the same way in Orleans Parish. It's the same way in East Baton Rouge Parish. All of these parishes are filled with people who ask for our vote and then over and over give us nothing that we can hold on to that can improve our situation. So let us go ahead and take this call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air with the Community Defender.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, y'all can hear me, Jay?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jay. Look, great topic, brother. Brother Jay. The thing is, the guilt trip won't work, which is perfect, because you see what's happening right now. Black people are waking up, and it's time for us to let those black people who still want to be asleep by playing in this game while voting their interests away, let them go to those plantations these white folks are organizing for them. Because as you notice, Trump big bill started off this month, and now they're going to see, like I said, black folks, get you some popcorn, enjoy the show. Don't worry about nothing. Don't let no other black politician or black pastor scare you into going and vote again. Let these white folks fight. We just got to enjoy our freedom, what's left of it. They might have the legislation, but they don't have our lives, which our lives is our legislation. They can make their rules and regulations, but they cannot stop us unless we allow them. Remember that, unless we allow them to stop us. All they're doing is using their laws to bully us and put fear in us. And like I said, they cannot put no more black people in jail, because now it's the Hispanic turns. And every culture of people this country has took in is now seeing what black folk been going through. It's one after the other, from the indigenous people to the Africans to the Chinese to the Hispanics and to the Cubans and to all the ones who they allowed to play like they was white until they didn't need them no more. And now they don't need them. So now they can get rid of them. And that's why Trump and his friends, which is the goons, are building all these penitentiary for them, not us, y'all. We already surrounded in packed in all these prison camps they done built for us. They done built them for the Hispanics, the Asians, and the new immigrants that thought they was Caucasian. So these white folk have been playing with us all our lives. It's up to us to wake up and realize it's time for the joke to be on them. So, Brother Dow, like I said, the guilt trip has always been on them. But they make us feel guilty by telling us something wrong with us for not wanting to participate in their government system. And I'm going to repeat it again, their government system. And now they're getting black faces to take the white faces and still doing what the white face ideology is for the black faces. And like I said, all those indoctrinated Negroes, they are our biggest problem. They are the one that always try to make us feel guilty to so say go fight for democracy that we don't have, even though the white folk don't have it, but yet still they allow us to so say play in the game when they need our vote. It's about the control. It's about the power. It's about who controls the people, controls the power. You know, they used DEI and had black people all terrified like DEI was really helping black folk. It wasn't. It was to help those poor white folks and them handicapped veterans get a job. Because these rich white folks, they don't even care for them kind of white folks who really went fight for this country. So until we wake up and spread the truth, no matter who it hurt, we got to be the one trying to free our people. Now, we're not going to free them all because they're going to be the one trying to tell us we should get along with these people. No, those people need to get along with themselves because we are civilized people amongst uncivilized people. And until we realize that, we're going to keep getting stepped on at the bottom. So keep talking what y'all talk, but do not edit nothing. If it hurt anybody, they got the problem, not us. We've been warning them. So until we wake up and stand up to these indoctrinated pastors and these indoctrinated Negroes who go to college, and if you notice, Brother Darrell, there are more black people with degrees that are unemployed. Take account of that now.
That's real. That's real.
So all y'all keep doing, Brother Darrell, is elaborate and keep pushing the issue because you're on the money. You're on the head. That's why you don't see none of these black politicians calling your show, Brother Darrell, because they cannot debate you. Your truth always overrides their lie. And we got to wake up and realize that until we, the people, and white people, I'm including y'all too, because Trump, new big bill, is the rewrite of the 1850 Slave Act. And now they're going to see what slaves are truly going through with this Jim Crowing, because they got that in there too. And white folks like this, and like I said, when I talk about white folk like this, white folks that don't have money, I'm talking about the one with money who's treating y'all like slaves now. And they don't care for y'all. That's why we can't have a livable wage. Everything else, they can distract us with transgender, education, which is indoctrination. We got to wake up and explain to our people, the ones who want to listen. We're not going to make all of them listen, but the ones who want to listen, we're going to survive. But you got to keep your mind open and reprogram what we have been taught in these schools and what we have been taught in these Christian churches. They are our biggest enemy. Remember that. Go do your African history and you will see all the distraction was done through our religion that we thought was for us. The Christian religion has always been part of the white supremacy. Please understand that. They're not God. White men who think they are our gods. So when they tell you, oh, they're going to put it in God's hand, they know it's a lie and they can't tell you nothing else, but it's going to put it in God's hand for you to put your hand down before choking them. Raise your hand up and do what you got to do to make sure your children's future is secured. And thank y'all, man. Keep talking about it. We got to stay on these people's neck like that old racist white cop did to George Floyd. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your commentary. And some people may say, well, why didn't you stop that caller? It's because of my training from a child. You allow people to have the floor as long as they telling the truth. And so there was no way for me to stop that caller because that caller was telling the truth for the entire time that he was on the phone line. So I couldn't, based upon my upbringing, I couldn't stop it. So we definitely appreciate that insight. And again, the guilt trip is not going to work on us. It didn't work on us last time or the time before. And I just want to let all the talking heads, whether you're on MSNBC or whether you get money from other folks outside of our community, no matter what it is, I want you to know that the guilt trip is not going to work. And they say, well, those who didn't vote, who voted third party and all of that, they're real quiet now. Now, we ain't quiet. I didn't vote for either one of them, and I'm standing on it. You understand? I didn't vote for either one of those parties, and I'm standing on it. And I defy anybody to bring up anything and to try to dissuade that opinion. There's nothing wrong with asking for something for your vote. There's nothing wrong with not voting for somebody who does not perform. People get fired all the time when they don't do the job. You don't do the job, you get fired. And so basically, our brothers who are on there, who are, I guess, paid by the Democrats to say to blame us rather than the Democrats, you're being disloyal to our community by doing that. Charge them with not addressing the issues that we believe are important. And I want to say this, because some people have argued with me about it, whether it be on social media and in person. People inbox me and stuff on Facebook, and they will say, well, Joe Biden allocated $16 billion for HBCUs. And what I want you to know and understand is that was an allocation, but it was not direct aid. You had to write grants for that money. You had to jump through all kind of hoops to get that money. And that $16 billion broke down to $9.7 billion, right? While at the same time, you must realize that the Ukraine, under the Joe Biden administration, got $183 billion, far eclipsing the HBCUs that needed that money. So with that's not something that's tenable. And for black elected officials to have nothing to say about that kind of significant betrayal of the interests of our people, and we having to jump through all kind of hoops to get the little money that y'all want to give us. But Zelensky in the Ukraine, he didn't have to jump through any hoops. As a matter of fact, he spoke to joint houses of Congress about what was going on. We've never been able to speak to joint houses of Congress about our problems as black people and get $183 billion to solve them. So they gave Zelensky more rights coming from the Ukraine than they did us, who are 50 million. We 50 million black folks, and whatever they wanted was of a higher priority than what we needed. And that's untenable. That is unacceptable. So yeah, the guilt trip won't work. As a matter of fact, y'all should feel guilty, but because you underperform. When there's a job to be done and you don't do that job, that's called getting fired. It's just that simple. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing that's out there, And I understand, which I'm not going to get into it, but I understand that the political situation is not what most of our people would like it to be. Okay? But if that's the case, tell your people to perform. Tell your masters who pay you to run your mouth, tell them, look, you're going to have to do more. You're going to have to give direct aid that is not attached to any requirements. You're just going to have to send $2 billion to Southern University and say, do what you want with it. We've underfunded your universities over the years. Just send $1 billion, $2 billion to Jackson State. Send $5 billion to Howard University. And just say, here's the check, pay your faculty, do what you need to do, build whatever. No strings attached. That, until you do that, it's not going to work, because that's what you do to everybody else. But when it's time for us to get something, we got to write a grant. We got to explain why we need it, what we're going to do. We have to give you a whole 500-page plan to get a few $1 million, but not them other people. Y'all just send money to Harvard. Send money to Princeton. Send money to Cornell. Send money to Yale. Yeah, Columbia. Whatever those big schools. Y'all just send money to them. But we got to jump through all kind of hoops to get any kind of money that we need. All right. And I just want to commend HBCUs for doing more with less. For over 100 years, historically black colleges and universities have been producing quality graduates on a shoestring budget all this time. And so I definitely appreciate HBCUs. As you know, I did graduate from Southern. But I'm grateful to God that in the midst of all of that, in the midst of what a lot of times is indoctrination, I was able to get the knowledge of self. I was able to hear young ministers that would come to campus from the Nation of Islam who would tell us about our history and tell us about ourselves at special programs. And that enlightenment sparked something in me that to this very day, that spark, that fire of working for the liberation of the minds of our people is still burning in me. And I got a hold of some tapes of Minister Farrakhan, tapes of Minister Ava, even tapes of Dr. Khaled. But those tapes went into my ear, went into my heart, and it was that kind of message. And we were listening to Public Enemy at the time. A lot of black consciousness was being rapped over the radio. It wasn't all of this booty shaking music. It wasn't all of this profanity and whatnot. There was music that would literally give you the mind to desire liberation. And that's why they moved the good music out of the way and put all the slop on the radio. Because that's what's on the radio now. A bunch of slop, mumble rap. You don't know what the hell is going on. They're not talking about building schools. They're not talking about elevating. They're not talking about opening up businesses. They're not talking about patronizing one another. It's all murder, kill, get drunk, whatever. And that's what the record labels are putting out here on the radio, a bunch of slop and trash that unfortunately, our young people consume. Now, I wanted to mention this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Eat to Live, published in 1967, warned us back then about the dangers of processed foods. He told you not to eat those instant biscuits. He warns you, and he even says in his book, Eat to Live, that they take out the vitamins. They take out the fiber. And then they take the vitamins and put it in a pill and make you buy the vitamins when they could have just left the vitamins in the food. These are the kind of things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was writing about before anybody else was writing about. I'm talking about a man with a 4th grade education from Sandersville, Georgia. Now, here's the thing you must understand. They take out the nutrients in the food and give it back to you in this processed form that's not good for your health. They take the real history out of education, the real understanding of cause and effect. They take that out of the education. So you got a processed food that's not good for you, and you have a processed education that's not good for you. Then there's a processed news media. Many of you don't know that there's a man named Peter McCullough, a person who is saying the same things that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan was saying in 2020 about what the pharmaceutical industry and the vaccine industry is doing. That should be front page news, but it lets you know information you can use is not put in the paper, but a bunch of foolishness is put in the paper, and you think you've been informed when you've actually been propagandized. You haven't been informed. You watch the news and you're just as dumb about what's really going on as you were when you cut it on. It's not your fault, but you got to dig deeper than where the enemy allows you to dig. You can't look at ABC and think you've been informed, because it's processed media, processed education, processed food, and believe it or not, it is processed religion. That's why they gave you the Caucasian guy with long hair and blue eyes. They told you he was the Son of God. And then the Bible says that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Right? So then you think, now if the Son of God is a white man, automatically, subconsciously, you're thinking that God is Caucasian and that anything divine has to be white. And so they whitewashed your mind. When I was a boy going to Sunday school, because I grew up in the Baptist church, all of the pictures of Paul and Peter in those Sunday school lessons, all the pictures of Jesus, they were all white. All of them. So everything associated with God had a white color at that time. I find out from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam that it's not like that at all. But check it out. The one person, or there were actually two figures in some of the literature, and I'm talking about in the pictorial representation, there were two people that were painted black. Sometimes the serpent in the garden who talked to Eve was depicted as black. And then, understand the serpent now. And then sometimes the Judas was depicted as a black man, a very dark-skinned black man. Talking about Judas, the one who betrayed Jesus. So they had him as black in some of these Bibles. And some of you have these old Bibles where Judas is actually a black man. The one who betrayed Jesus was portrayed as a black person. Okay, this is absolute white supremacy in the form of religion. I mean, it's just plain and simple. So we have to get our minds up out of that foolishness. And we don't want to give up God, but we want to give up those things that Satan has put into religion, and we need to get that out of the way. We want to always maintain a faith in God, because God will make a way out of no way. God is there through thick and thin. And the thing I want to say to you, and this is what the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said. He said, the love that God has for black people, you cannot measure it, unquote. The love that God has for black people, you cannot measure it. But here's the problem. When you look at our condition, as some people have mocked us, why y'all in church all the time, and look at your condition. Y'all always praising God and y'all have the least. See, they're fools. But the problem is that God is working with us, but what we have to do is begin to love ourselves, because God already loves us. He's already ready to receive us. But we are so hateful of one another and so hung up on European concepts of God that we keep the mental chains around our brains ourselves. Understand, brothers and sisters, that you were born with your brains, but you got your minds after you got here. Gonna say it again. You were born with your brains, but you got your mind after you got here. And as the enemy always says, if I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. And so when you look at the opinions that our people have, they're not the opinions of free people. You understand? They're not the opinions of free people. Black organizations, with maybe one exception, are not really, not maybe one exception, but one exception, are not really advocating for the buying of farmland. Black organizations are not talking about let's buy farmland because we all eat. That way our food will be healthier and we won't have all these health problems. Let's stay out of the fast food drive-through and let's go to the farm and grow our food. And as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we had to get our mouth out of the enemy's kitchen. Nobody's talking about real issues. They're talking about being in the butt crack of other people. I hate to put it like that, but that's all they're talking about. Kiss up to other people. Try to prove yourself to other people. People who have already decided not to fully accept you. That decision was made when you and I were on the boat as a people. When we were on the boat in chains, they had already made their decision as to how they were going to treat us. So for us to be begging for somebody to treat you better instead of unifying and forcing it, you understand? You have to force it. First with truth, then with unity, and then organization. Okay? But the local organizing committee, you're not interested in that. You're interested in getting drunk, but you're not interested in organizing. You're interested in going to the club. You want a bigger chain. See, the enemy has you thinking on such a little level. You're going after, in church they tell you there's only one name by which you can be saved, right? And they said that's the name of Jesus. But you would think they said that it was the name of Gucci or the name of Louis, because you got a $700 t-shirt that might say Louis, or it might say Gucci. But you ain't gonna pay $700 for a t-shirt that say Jesus. So, Pastor, your people love Gucci, the name of Gucci, more than Jesus. They love the name of Louis Vuitton more than the name of Jesus. They love the name of Chanel more than Jesus. They're not gonna pay $7,000 for a Jesus purse, but they'll pay $7,000 for a Chanel purse while they live in an apartment with no farmland. And for what a Gucci purse or a Chanel purse costs, you can buy 3 or 4 acres of land in North Louisiana and in Mississippi. For the price of one little purse, you can buy land that you can grow enough food on to take care of your family. We have been made stupid by this enemy, to where you brag on the fact that you paid $12,000 for a purse. And do you know that land in Mississippi, I'm talking about fertile land with timber on it, is going for $2,000 an acre when you buy it in bulk. So for the price of some of your purses, you can buy 6, 7 acres of land. Fertile land with timber on it that you could sell. Amazing. So I just wanted to lay that out there. We have been made absolutely stupid by the culture that has been created. We're into brand names. So Reb, tell them, look, the name of Jesus is above Gucci. See if they listen. The name of Jesus is above Louis Vuitton. See if they listen. But right now, the name of Gucci in the black community among our young
3 minutes, Brother Dave.
is higher
3 minutes, Brother Darrell.
than the name of Jesus. And that's a problem, Pastor. I know we got a few more moments left in the program, but I wanted to mention a few of these things which you understand that the guilt trip will not work. It's not going to work this time. And black people, as the caller said, are waking up. And we're being enlightened to self-interest. Okay? Self-interest. We have to know what's good for us. I'm going to mention this. In East Baton Rouge Parish, they are planning a prison in North Baton Rouge, roughly $400 million, and an arena on LSU's campus in South Baton Rouge, roughly $400 million. A jail for blacks and an arena for entertainment for others. I'm just putting it out there. And you know that our politicians are working on their projects that are going to be detrimental to the interests of our people?
1 minute.
Okay? Look, man, don't, if you're one of these politicians who are punking out on the people, who are doing all of other people's business, when I see you asking for people's votes, I'm going to call you out. Just like I called a few of you out of the Metro Council, I'm going to have to call some of y'all jokers out again. Because y'all are bad for the future of our children, some of you. I ain't saying all of you, but some of you are bad, detrimental for the future of our people and the future of our children.
15 seconds.
So I wanted to, of course, thank everybody for tuning in. I hope that and pray that you enjoyed the clips that we ran and the dialogue and discussion. And what we will do is we will come back to you with another edition real soon. God bless you. I'm just your brother. Assalamu alaikum.